In the heart of a desolate town, there stood a mansion, shrouded in a mystery as old as time itself. This wasn't your everyday, run-of-the-mill small town. No, this was a place where the sun seemed to shy away, where the wind whistled through the skeletal trees, carrying with it whispers of a time long forgotten. It was a town draped in an eerie silence, a silence so profound that it seemed to swallow up even the faintest of sounds. At the center of this ghost town, the mansion loomed, a solitary sentinel against the backdrop of desolation. It was a monument to a once vibrant life now reduced to a mere echo in the annals of time. Its once grand facade now weathered and worn, each brick, each shattered window, a testament to the passage of time and the relentless grip of neglect. Rumors of its haunted reputation wafted through the town like a persistent fog. Whispered tales of strange occurrences, of chilling apparitions, and unexplainable phenomena that defied logic and reason. I found myself drawn to this enigma, the lure of the unknown pulling me towards it like a moth to a flame. As I stood at the threshold of the mansion for the first time, I was met with an unsettling silence. The world seemed to hold its breath, the air growing dense with anticipation. It was as if the mansion itself was watching, waiting. The silence wasn't just an absence of noise. It was a presence, an entity that wrapped itself around the mansion, an unseen shroud that concealed what lay within its cold, dark confines. The silence was profound, tangible. It bore down on me like a physical weight. It was not the comforting quiet of solitude, but the ominous hush of a predator stalking its prey. The calm before a storm. Little did I know, this silence was a prelude to a symphony of horrors yet to unfold. Against the better judgment, I stepped over the threshold, entering the realm of the unknown. A realm that existed in the heart of an abandoned mansion, a place where silence didn't just echo, it screamed. The mansion, with its grandeur faded by time, held an eerie charm. Its once vibrant walls now bore the burden of age, the paint peeling off like the skin of a forgotten past. The house was not just abandoned, it was forsaken, left to the mercy of time and elements, perhaps for good reason. I ventured forth, driven by a curiosity that, in hindsight, was foolhardy at best. The air inside was musty, heavy with the scent of decay. It was as if the very walls were exhaling years of accumulated dread. Each step I took felt like a transgression, an intrusion into a world that was best left undisturbed. And then, it happened. The first sign of something not quite right. Something that defied the laws of the physical world. A sudden gust of wind, cold enough to freeze the bone, swept through the mansion. It was an indoor tempest, a chilling breeze that had no business being there. The mansion was sealed shut, a fortress against the elements. Yet there it was, a wind that carried a whisper of something otherworldly. Before I could make sense of it, a door slammed shut with a resonating thud. The sound echoed through the mansion, breaking the silence like a hammer to glass. It was no mere gust of wind that had caused that. It was something else, something unseen. A presence that wasn't visible to the naked eye but was as real as the fear that coursed through my veins. It was then that I felt it, an icy breath on my neck, a presence unseen yet palpable. A feeling of being watched, of being unwelcome. A feeling that was more than just a feeling. It was a warning, a message from the other side, a sign of the ghostly encounter that was yet to come. A chill ran down my spine, the air turned heavy, the unseen presence was making itself known. There was an inexplicable shift in the atmosphere, a disconcerting sense of being watched, followed. The silence wasn't just silence anymore. It was a cacophony of whispers, of murmurs, of echoes from a time long past. The house, seemingly benign in its decay, had begun to reveal a more sinister side. The benign, dust-laden air was now dense with a foreboding chill. The once comforting shadows now held a menacing depth. The tick-tock of the ancient clock, previously a soothing rhythm, now pounded like a death knell in my ears. The walls, which once stood as silent spectators, now seemed to breathe, pulsating with a life of their own. As I ventured deeper into the mansion, the paranormal activities intensified. The sound of fleeting footsteps echoed through the hollow halls, as if someone or something was darting around in the shadows. A cold draft would sweep past me, making the hairs on my neck stand on end. Whispers, too soft to comprehend, would pass my ears, leaving behind an icy trail. Items would move on their own accord, a chair rocking back and forth, a door creaking open, a book dropping off a shelf. The air was thick with an unseen presence, a spectral spectator observing my every move. There was a distinct feeling of being watched, of being followed. It was as though a pair of unseen eyes were fixed on me, tracking my every move, echoing my every heartbeat. Each room, each corridor, each corner held a chilling surprise, an unseen terror. The mansion was alive, not with the bustle of life, but with the echoes of the dead. An eerie symphony of the supernatural filled the air, a chilling reminder of the mansion's haunted past. I knew then I was not alone. Something, or someone, was in there with me. In the heart of the darkness, a figure began to manifest, a ghostly silhouette that chilled me to my core. In the depth of the shadowy abyss, an ethereal form started to coalesce. It was a spectral figure, its features indistinct, yet its presence was as real as the fear that gripped my heart. The air around me seemed to grow colder, as if the very warmth of life was being sapped away by this phantom presence. The ghost, for lack of a better word, was an amalgamation of the familiar and the alien, the human and the otherworldly. It was tall, its stature looming over me like a grotesque parody of a man. Its eyes, two hollow voids, held a gaze that was both vacant and penetrating. Its mouth, twisted in a never-ending scream, was a haunting testament to its eternal torment. The clothes it wore were tattered remnants of another era, a chilling reminder of its past life. As I stared at this terrifying apparition, a strange sensation washed over me. It was as if the ghost was trying to communicate. There was a raw emotion that seeped from its very being, a deep-seated anguish that resonated within me. It was a silent plea, a desperate cry for understanding. This was not a malevolent spirit, but a lost soul trapped in the echoes of its past. The ghost reached out towards me, its hand phasing through the air as if it was struggling against unseen chains. It was a gesture that spoke volumes, a silent plea for help, for release. It was a prisoner, bound by the chains of its own torment, forever trapped within the confines of this abandoned mansion. As I stood there, face to face with this spectral entity, I realized the true horror of its existence. This was not a creature of nightmares, but a victim of a tragic past, forever doomed to relive its torment. The ghost, a prisoner of its own torment, was reaching out, trying to tell me its story. As quickly as it had appeared, the ghost vanished, leaving me alone in the echoing silence of the mansion. My heart pounded in my chest like a drum, a stark contrast to the stillness that had once again enveloped the mansion. The phantom's sudden departure left an eerie emptiness, its presence replaced by a chilling void. The air was heavy with the aftermath of our encounter, the spectral residue of a haunting that had shaken my reality to its core. The furniture seemed to hold its breath. The cracked mirrors reflected nothing but darkness, and the once intimidating portraits on the walls were now merely silent witnesses to the chilling encounter. The mansion, once so full of foreboding energy, now felt hollow, as if it too had been drained by the ghostly encounter. It's funny how fear can shape our perception. The mansion was the same, unchanged in its physical form. Yet it felt entirely different. It had been transformed from a mere structure of bricks and mortar into a haunted relic, a playground for the spectral inhabitants of the unseen world. The lingering echoes of the ghostly manifestation seemed to reverberate in every corner of the mansion, as if the walls themselves were whispering tales of the phantom. It was as though the mansion had absorbed the ghost's essence, becoming a living, breathing testament to the spectral presence that had once roamed its halls. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, yet the memory of the encounter refused to fade. It had left an indelible mark on my psyche, a haunting reminder of the unseen world that lurks in the shadows. It was a chilling experience that had forever altered my perception of reality, a stark reminder of the thin veil that separates our world from the spectral realm. The ghost may have disappeared, but its memory continues to haunt me. For in its story I found a piece of my own.